Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. As yet again this week we have another huge blockbuster trade in the NFL for a wide receiver, yet another top 5 wide receiver in the NFL on the move, as Odell Beckham Jr. has been traded from the New York Giants to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for their 17th overall pick, their 95th overall pick in strong safety, Jabril Peppers. Wow! During the week where Antonio Brown left the Pittsburgh Steelers, was traded to the Oakland Raiders, yet another top receiver changes teams, changes jerseys. Odell Beckham is now a Cleveland Brown. Wow, a lot to discuss here, and then at the end of this video, we're going to talk about what the Titans did today. I want to talk about all the other moves, but I'm a little bit sick today if you can't tell. We'll wrap around later this week and talk about more of those moves when I actually feel like talking. But I have to talk about these moves, so we'll do these first. So Odell Beckham, let's discuss it from two sides, okay? From the New York Giants side and from the Cleveland Browns side. But let's start with the Browns because they're exciting right now. Can you believe this? Can you believe the conversation we are having currently about the Cleveland Browns? Immediately we see one of the most exciting, tantalizing teams in the NFL in Cleveland. This is never been seen. Are you kidding me? You got Baker Mayfield, who to me should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year. I understand Saquon Barkley was great. To me, when a quarterback throws for 27 touchdowns in his rookie year and only 14 interceptions, leads a winless team to 7 wins, that's my Offensive Rookie of the Year. But whatever, okay? We can all agree he had a great rookie, one of the best rookie quarterback years ever, made great plays, made some mistakes, but made great plays and made the Browns into a decent football team. You combine him with the recent signing of Kareem Hunt, and you can believe whatever you want to believe when it comes to that signing. We can all agree that Kareem Hunt is a great football talent, and he's only going to add to this offense. You saw what Nicholas Chubb did in this offense last season. He burst onto the scene. So the running back core is good. Oh, and by the way, we still have Duke Johnson whenever we want to throw him out there. So we have a trio of running backs in Cleveland. And now let's move on to the wide receivers, as we now have the LSU connection between Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. Are you kidding me, dog? Now, outside of those two wide receivers, there's not much. Okay, Rashard Higgins is currently out there as a restricted free agent, and he had about 500 receiving yards. Okay, that's fine. And Antonio Callaway, he made some plays last year. He needs to improve a bit to me, but they're okay. But we're really talking about the top two in Landry and Odell. And OMG, what a combination that is. Oh, and by the way, tight end position, we have David Njoku, who really took a sophomore leap and still has a lot of potential within him. This Browns offense is looking very good. Now, the offensive line needs work. I don't like either of the tackles right now. Okay, Greg Robinson, he has had his issues in the league, and the right tackle position has been a bit of a turntable lately. They're going to have to solidify those tackle positions, and they don't have a first round pick to help them do so. What they do have is some more cap space, but a lot of free agents are currently being picked up. I don't love the options right there. So there will be weaknesses to this Browns offense next season. But the good thing is you have Baker Mayfield, who can get the ball out quick. You have Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, who do not require a lot of time to get open. Same goes for David Njoku. Njoku takes a little bit of time, but not much time. You can get the ball out quickly, get the ball on the move, and you can run the football with decent success. You still have Joe Bitonio, probably your best offensive lineman in the middle, so he's going to help there. You did trade away Kevin Zeitler, so that hurts your interior. That's going to hurt your interior offensive line also a bit. But I like Bitonio. Other stuff's going to have to be cleaned up. I mean, you got to use your second, third, other round picks to clean that up. But your defense, you still have holes too. I mean, let's not forget about that. Now you need a new strong safety. You need linebacker help. You need corner help to me, opposite of Denzel Ward. So there's still holes on this Cleveland Browns roster. But you just look at the firepower, and we're having a much better conversation about the Cleveland Browns than we've ever had. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and I'm not saying they're going to be at that level, but they got away with deficiencies on their offensive line and their defense, and they were the best team in the NFL for most of the season. Damn near made the Super Bowl, and if they would have made it, they would have won it. Okay, so you can get away with deficiencies. The question to me Is Freddie Kitchens the guy that's going to put this team together and actually eventually push them to winning a Super Bowl? Because that's the conversation we're not going to have about this team being a true Super Bowl contender. And let me tell you, it's going to take time. People are talking about the Browns being AFC contenders, and I'm shutting it down. I'm saying no, they're not AFC contenders. AFC North contenders, hey, I'm buying into that. I'm buying into that. I'll probably have them winning the AFC North as of this moment. As of this moment. Ask me in August, but as of this moment. But are they prepared to go to New England and beat the Patriots? Can they beat the Chargers? Can they beat the Chiefs? No. They're too young. They're too inexperienced. Myles Garrett's great. He's young. He's inexperienced. Baker Mayfield, same thing. Nick Chubb, same thing. Kareem Hunt, young. Has some experience, but very young. Odell, he's had his winning problems. Landry, same thing. They're going to have to figure it out. Is Freddie Kitchens the guy to do that? He won games late down the stretch in Cleveland. I understand that. But is he going to be able to work around all these personalities? I don't know. So what I think is going to happen ultimately, and we're really projecting here, but you know, that's what I love to do. I love to project. I think they might make the playoffs this year. In fact, they should. It won't be easy. There's a lot of competition in the AFC. I think the best route is winning the AFC North outright. Because I think if you get involved in the wild card discussion, I think the Chargers and Chiefs will still be battling there. I think the Colts, the Texans, and the Titans will still be battling there. That is still a difficult discussion. And you know, the Ravens and maybe the Bengals could make a comeback or something like that. And the Steelers should still be involved. So I don't want to get involved in that. I want to win the AFC North outright. And right now, on paper, they look like they have the best roster to do that. And also, don't forget, they just traded for Olivier Vernon. So the defense is still set. Still has some issues, but it's pretty much set right now. So they should win the AFC North. And I think they're going to cap out somewhere. And then they're going to say, okay, who's the guy that's going to help mature our guys, push them to the next level? They can look at the college ranks for a Jim Harbaugh, if he's done at Michigan at that point, for a David Shaw at Stanford, Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma. They could go to Mike McCarthy, who got laid off in Green Bay. He still needs a job, and he's going to take the year off. I think there's a lot of options down the road. Maybe Freddie Kitchens is the guy, but I'm telling you, this is not going to be an easy job. There's a lot of talent here. I'm excited, but we're going to have to be very careful in how we proceed. This could blow up. The good thing is everyone here is young as hell. Okay, so we got plenty of years to figure it out, but we're figuring it out roster-wise, and this is such an exciting conversation. Now, as for the New York Giants, oof. Okay, Dave Gettleman is coming in. He's swinging his genitalia around and making every single move. He's just shipping people out of here. And, you know, I'm not sure if I'm into it. It just all depends on how he drafts. And we're going to see. Saquon Barkley was a home run. Now, perhaps they'll look back in the future and they'll say, well, we should have took Sam Darnold instead. But look, Saquon Barkley is a great pick, so I'm okay with that. But now you have your 6th pick. Now you have your 17th pick. Now you have your 95th pick. Now you have Jabril Peppers. You have to draft well and you have to develop the talent. If you draft a couple busts here, my goodness, are you going to look like the biggest clown in the history of clowns? You cannot afford to miss on these draft picks. It's all going to depend on that. If at number 6, let's say he selects Dwayne Haskins, ends up being a franchise quarterback for them. Number 17, he selects A.J. Brown, ends up being not Odell Beckham, of course, but ends up being a #1 receiver in the NFL, and a 95th pick, he ends up being a damn good player. We may look back and say, hey, he got cheap talent. You know, they were able to build a young, cheap team, and they're a contender now. But if he drafts some busts, he's going to look like an absolute clown, because you shipped out Jason Pierre-Paul, who, look, I'm okay with that because, you know, he's on his downside of his career. Olivier Vernon, you know, it's okay because you got Kevin Zeitler, and Vernon was never a big sack guy. But Odell Beckham, this is a premier NFL talent. This is a superstar. And yes, he could be a bit of a head case, but look, almost all wide receivers in the NFL are head cases once they're very good. You know, you have your, you know, some of your, you know, quiet types like Larry Fitzgerald or Julio Jones that just, you know, do their job and shut up. But you're going to have some different wide receivers. You better be prepared to get a new guy in there. Sterling Shepard is not a #1 wide receiver. He's a number 2, a decent number 2, not number 1, and that's all you got. Benny Fowler? Oh, come on. Russell Shepard, can we stop that conversation? You're going to have to get better wide receivers in here, and it's going to start at that number 17 pick. Do not draft DK Metcalf or that number 6 pick. If they draft DK, if I hear DK, and we're not talking about Donkey Kong on draft day, we're going to have a problem. Okay, I don't want to hear nothing about no DK, nothing. Okay, I don't want to hear a Cap. I want to hear a cow. If I hear a Cap, I'll be pissed. Okay, I don't want to hear anything about DK Metcalf on draft day. When it comes to the Giants, I'm not a DK Metcalf fan. So, tread lightly, okay, it's risky, I wouldn't have done it, but Jabril Peppers, he improved last year too, so at least you lost the whole of Landon Collins and you're placing that well, but man, they didn't like anyone from this Giants team. They're really starting over from that old Giants team, and you had, I would have kept Collins. I know he was expensive, but he's a homegrown talent. I think you keep homegrown talent. You already know how they look in your system. I think it's safer than moving on, and Odell would have kept him. I know I would have kept him. He's just a diva. Just do the whip with him in the locker room and he's gonna like you. That's all you need to do. I don't know. But whatever. That's it for the Giants. That's it for the Cleveland Browns. Let's quickly get to the Tennessee Titans and then let's get out of here. So the Tennessee Titans today made 2 moves. They signed left guard Roger Saffold, formerly of the LA Rams, to a 4-year, $44 million contract, $23 million of which is guaranteed. I am all for this deal. Now, he's a little bit overpaid. I probably would have given him $9 million a year as opposed to 11, but you know what? F it. Because we need more offensive line talent, especially in terms of the interior of the offensive line. Quinton Spain has been allowed to walk. That left guard position was now wide open, and I told you, hey, look at this, second time I've been right on this, that Roger Saffold could be a potential option for the Titans in free agency. I told you that in my offseason preview, and it came true today. I'm all for this. He's going to come in day 1 and be the second best player on this offensive line, and hope he continue to be that throughout the tenure of his time here, unless if Jack Conklin, goes back to his all-pro form, which, by the way, I'd be all for. Okay, so we're talking about getting protection from Marcus Mariota, and I said the one thing, if we do nothing else, if you don't get any receivers, don't get any edge rushers, don't get any of that, let's at least fix the offensive line, keep him healthy, keep him in the pocket, and then eventually he'll find someone that's getting open. Okay, because I think eventually Taywan Taylor and Corey Davis, eventually they get open. They may not get open initially, but eventually they'll get open, right? So, but you need to give Mariota time to find those guys. This helps with that. Are we going to still look at center? Are we going to look at right guard? Right guard, I just say no. I think they're going to give Josh Clinton another chance. They probably shouldn't, but they just re-signed him last year to a 4-year extension, so they're going to give him another chance. To me, I want Conklin battling with him at right guard in training camp and potentially putting Dennis Kelly at right tackle. We'll see if they do that. I'm not sure if they're that creative, but I'm that creative. And then number 19, the center, Garrett Bradbury. Is he worth the number 19 pick? I'm hearing conflicting reports on that. I haven't moved on to my center evaluations yet, but if he is, I'd be okay with that. But really, again, I'm talking about I want a wide receiver at number 19. I know there's going to be A.J. Brown or N'Keal Harry, and I want one. I'm telling you, dog, if you get one of those men, you put him outside, you got him outside, you got Corey Davis, you got Adam Humphries, you have an improved offensive line, you got Derrick Henry running like a beast behind Roger Saffold and Taylor Lewan on the left side of this offensive line, you got Delaney Walker back at tight end. Hello, that looks like a top 10 offense. Whether or not it is, I don't know, but it looks like it. That's a much better conversation than we had last year, talking about Corey Davis, Taywan Taylor, Jonnu Smith, Quinton Spain at left guard. That's a much better conversation. So I'm talking one of those wide receivers at number 19. I know we still need an edge, and I'll take an edge. I'll take a defensive lineman. But I really think about going over the top. I'm looking at one of those wide receivers and maybe the tight ends, but I prefer one of the wide receivers because that's what's going to make us catch up. The defense is already good. I mean, we had the 6th best defense in the NFL. It needs improving. Like, we need to get an edge rusher. I agree. But the offense was awful. The offense was like 29th. That's That's what needs to catch up. The defense is already good enough. The Chiefs almost went to the Super Bowl with a horrible defense. The Patriots won the Super Bowl with a horrible defense. Rams got there with an average defense. The defense is already good enough. The offense needs to catch up. All right, so that's why I'm screaming, and we're going to continue to talk about this and evaluate this, but that's my stance right now. But you guys know I love wide receivers, so don't listen to me. And then finally, they added an edge as they signed defensive end Cameron Wake, formerly of the Miami Dolphins. I think potentially a Hall of Famer, right, when it's all said and done at 37 years old. Now, I don't think he's going to see the length of this deal. I just see no way he makes it 3 years. He may not even make it past 1, to be honest with you. Last year, he played roughly 50% of the Miami Dolphins defensive snaps, of which he was very productive. He was very productive for only 500 of about 1,000 of the Dolphins defensive snaps last season. Very productive. So that tells you he's on the downside of his career. That 50% should stay the same. It may go lower. So we don't have our starting defensive end here. I mean, they can slot him there, but because he's not even playing 50%, or at least he didn't last year, you just don't want to rely upon that. Now, he's being overpaid here. Okay, honestly, for over $7 million, this is 7 points, what is that, $6-7 million per year for a guy that may play 50% of your defensive snaps. That's too much money. That's too much money to me. But I'm okay with it because there's only $10 million of it guaranteed. If he retires after a year, you save money there. If you have to cut him after 2 years, by then all the guaranteed money should be gone. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's going to hurt a little bit next year. In terms of the cap, a little bit next year, let's say we have to extend Mariota. It's going to hurt a bit. Just look out for that. It's going to hurt a bit. But if he gives us production, we'll be all right. Now, we still need to draft an edge in the first 2 rounds, right? Absolutely first 2 rounds. Look, I'm wide receiver round 1. That's my bandwagon right now. But first 2 rounds, absolutely, we have to do that. This is not the answer there, but it's a rotational pass rusher who will go in nicely with Camila Correa and Sharif Finch. So we still need 1 more there, but I like that we're spending money. This is what I've been asking for the past 3 off seasons. Can we spend a little bit more? We've spent, we got Malcolm Butler, we got Logan Ryan, we got Jonathan Cyprian, although I really wasn't on board with that and that proved to be true. We got some guys, but now we're really spending money and spending money very wisely, or at least pretty wisely, and I'm happy with that. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Odell Beckham being traded from the New York Giants to the Cleveland Browns and the Tennessee Titans' recent moves. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.